How much of your time and work do you spend in meetings? If you're in a managerial position, the answer most likely is quite a substantial part. And with time being a finite, extremely precious resource, the question is, how can you make sure that the time invested yield results? How can you run meetings that actually do matter? In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 proven principles that, if applied, will significantly enhance the effectiveness of your meetings, so that you can achieve more in less time and build a reputation as an intentional, effective, and well-organized leader. Hello and a very warm welcome to the channel. My name is Sabine Renner. I'm a former investment banker, now organizational psychologist, leadership coach and trainer, and researcher in the field of positive psychology. On this channel, you'll find proven and actionable tips, tools, and strategies that will help you take the lead, advance in your career, and succeed at work and beyond. Over the course of the last 25 years, I had the opportunity to attend thousands of meetings with a broad variety of stakeholders. And while many of them were unfortunately not very effective, some stood out in a positive way. What sets these meetings apart? Well, upon reflection, I realized that they followed many, if not all, of the 10 principles that we are going to explore in this video and that you should have on your radar before, during, and after the meeting. Let's get started with what needs to happen before your meeting, and this brings us to principle number 1, which is seek clarity on the purpose. Have you ever shown up to a meeting and wondered, why on earth am I here? And left even more puzzled as the meeting didn't seem to have a clear purpose, or in other words, an objective or a desired outcome? And that is why far too many meetings evolve into a directionless discussion that is leading nowhere. Don't let this happen to your meetings. So before you even invite attendees to a meeting, take a moment to reflect for yourself. What is the purpose of this meeting? What do we need to accomplish? What outcome do we seek from this meeting? And what will be different for us as a result of this meeting? Do you want to agree on an important decision, set goals, or generate ideas in a brainstorming session? Would you like to engage in a planning or problem-solving session, or provide status updates? And this brings me to a very important question reflected in principle number 2, which is check whether a meeting is actually needed. Keep in mind that for some objectives, such as providing status updates or sharing information, formats other than an in-person or virtual meeting can be even much more effective and less disruptive to individual workflows and productivity. Is there any other way to reach exactly the same outcome without asking people to actually physically or virtually get together? Well, if so, then use it. People will thank you for being considerate of their time. Now, once the objective is clear and you have decided that a meeting is indeed the best option, then head over to principle number 3, which is invite the right people. Now that you know what you aim to achieve, ask yourself, who needs to be present to accomplish this particular purpose? Whose input, know-how, support, or sign-off is needed to reach the objective? And while it might be very tempting, resist the urge to invite everybody who has a somehow remote connection to the objective at hand. Instead, consciously decide who really needs to be present in order to achieve your meeting's objective. Invite those and make sure you keep those interested informed and updated afterwards. This way, it will not only be easier for you to effectively facilitate the meeting, you also reduce the risk of derailment and provide room for interaction. But you also ensure that your organization's resources, namely people's time, are invested in the most effective way. And this brings us to principle number 4, which is create an effective agenda. Time is a precious resource. Treat it as such and be intentional in the way you design your meetings. So go back to your meeting objective and then ask yourself, what needs to happen to further this objective? What needs to be covered? What is the most effective sequence? And how much time will be required for each topic? Answering these questions will not only help you create an effective agenda, it will also allow you to better understand what needs to happen before the meeting. What kind of preparation is required? By whom? What information needs to be shared? Who will be in charge of leading through particular sections of the meeting? What are the most effective tools and techniques to facilitate different parts of the meeting? How can you engage participants and tap into their wisdom? Once you've done your preparation, share a draft agenda with the other participants, informing them about the purpose of the meeting, the draft agenda, and potential pre-work requirements. And then Very importantly, ask for feedback. Meetings are a collaborative process, and the same should apply to your agenda. Do participants have questions, concerns, or potential add-ons? Give them the opportunity to review and prepare. This way, your meetings will not only be more effective and productive, they will also be much more engaging. And now that we have set ourselves up for a successful meeting, it is time to execute. Here are 5 more principles on how to run effective and engaging meetings. Principle number 5, start intentionally. Take the time to open your meeting properly, as it sets a tone for everything else that follows. So be intentional. And while it might be tempting to directly jump into the task mode, invest some time for a strong and clear and trustworthy opening. Welcome everybody, and thank them for attending and participating in your meeting. Then remind participants of the purpose and the objective of the meeting, so that nobody has to guess and everybody is aligned. You've chosen the participants for a reason. Let them know what is expected of them. And if needed, allow for some time so that participants can introduce themselves so that they know who else is on the table. Then explore the meeting etiquette. More about that in principle number 7. And then finally, take a moment to review the agenda and timeline to provide guidance about the direction and roadmap of the meeting. Principle number 6, assign roles and share responsibilities. While you might be the person hosting a meeting, you don't have to be the one who runs it. In fact, it can be very powerful to assign roles and responsibilities to participants on a recurring or rotating basis. Who could facilitate the meeting or parts of it? Who could be the timekeeper? Who could take notes and make sure that all the ideas, action items, and timelines are captured? This person should ideally also be in charge of sending out the meeting notes afterwards. Who could take care of social activities, such as, for example, conducting an icebreaker? Make sure that the people know in advance so that they get prepared ahead of the meeting. This way, you not only take some burden off your shoulders, you also provide an excellent opportunity for others to shine and to grow their skill set. Principle number 7, establish and stick to an effective meeting etiquette. Principle number 7 is about discussing and aligning how participants behave and interact with each other during the meeting. What behavior is helpful in reaching the meeting objective effectively? What is dysfunctional and could cause the meeting to derail? What is actually the common ground that participants feel comfortable to commit to for the sake of keeping the meeting on track? Here are some examples. We are focusing on one topic at a time. We are having one conversation at a time. We are succinct and to the point without repeating ourselves. We start and end on time. We are fully engaged. We are inclusive and provide a safe space for everybody to contribute. We invite and appreciate new ideas and different perspectives. Agreeing to these guiding rules and sticking to them can be a game changer when it comes to conducting effective meetings. Principle number 8, use a parking lot. A parking lot is a place to record questions, ideas, and topics that are important to be looked at, but that are actually outside of the scope of the respective meeting. So instead of using precious time during the meeting and possibly causing your meeting to derail, redirect any of agenda items that comes up and that is not of relevance for the meeting to the parking lot. Make sure to allocate some time at the end of the meeting to review all parking lot items and agree on the next steps. Principle number 9, end with clear actions and appreciation. Make sure that as you go through the meeting, all action items, next steps, and important outcomes are recorded, summarized, and agreed upon at the end. Don't assume that everybody has the same understanding of what has been said. Rather, double-check and seek confirmation that participants are crystal clear on what comes next. What are the action items? Who is responsible? What is the timeline and due date? And how will those in charge circle back? Also, let everybody know when the meeting notes will be circulated. And then, as you conclude the meeting, make sure that it ends on a high note. Thank everybody for their time, participation, contribution, and collaboration. And once the meeting is concluded, make sure you follow the final principle number 10, which is to reflect and solicit feedback. After the meeting is over, take some time to reflect on what went well and what could be done differently to further enhance the effectiveness of upcoming meetings. Was the objective met? Did you stay on track and stick to the timeline? Also, give others the opportunity to provide feedback and share ideas for improvement, either at the end of the meeting or afterward. Appreciate their thoughts and insights and report back to them on how you plan to incorporate these ideas into the future. By asking these questions, you will, over time, gather valuable feedback that will help you become even more effective in the way you lead meetings, one meeting at a time. I hope you find these insights helpful. Hit the subscribe button to stay tuned to learn more proven and actionable tips, tools, and strategies that will help you take the lead, advance in your career, and succeed at work and beyond. And in case you would like to learn more about how to run effective one-on-one meetings with your team members, have a look at this video. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.